The guards moved through the corridor in silence. They were neither soldiers nor strangers. They were of her own household. The men she had paid, clothed, and kept for decades. She can hear them from the bedroom. She does not move, nor does she call out. Hurriedly, she steps into the wardrobe and pulls the door. The hem of her dress catches, 1 inch of fabric, visible in the gap. For 50 years, she had ruled across 3 continents. She had chosen who sat on the throne of the Ottoman Empire, and, when necessary, arranged for them to stop. Every alliance she had ever built is on the other side of that door. Her name was Kösem Sultan. Before that, it was Anastasia. Born on the island of Tinos, the daughter of a Greek Orthodox priest. An origin almost too ordinary for the story that follows. She was 15 when raiders came to the island. She was sold in Bosnia, forwarded through the Ottoman trade routes to Constantinople like a commercial transaction. She arrived as cargo. The Ottoman Empire in the early 17th century stretched from the Danube to the Persian Gulf, from the Libyan coast to the Caucasus. Tens of millions of subjects. 3 continents, 1 throne. The Sultan ruled officially from the Topkapi Palace, with the apparatus of law, military, and bureaucracy behind him. But the palace had a second government. The harem was not the perfumed prison of European imagination. It was a parallel state, structured and political. It had its own economy, its own factions, its own long memories. At the top sat the Walid Sultan, the Sultan's mother. Not his wife. His mother. The woman who had already survived the court, produced the heir, and accumulated over many years the relationships and intelligence that constituted power no formal title could fully describe. Anastasia entered the harem at 15. She entered the corridor that led to that office. The year is 1604. Safiya Sultan, mother of the previous sultan, is banished from the palace. Handan Sultan, mother of the reigning Sultan Ahmed I, dies. Both within 12 months. The hierarchy that had governed the harem for a generation is suddenly, completely vacant. Anastasia was just 19, and what followed was not passion, nor was it luck. She positioned herself beside Ahmed I with the deliberateness of someone who understood exactly what proximity to a sultan was worth. He recognized it and granted her a formal stipend of silver coins, a signal the palace could read from across the courtyard. Then he renamed her Kösem, from the Turkish for the lead animal of the flock, the one the others follow, the one that sets direction. So, basically, the leader. She did not wait to be invited into the role. She walked through the door before anyone thought to close it. She bore Ahmed 6 children. 3 of them would become sultan as time went on. Ahmed died in 1617. His brother, Mustafa, mentally unfit to rule, lasted months on the throne before being deposed. The succession passed to Ahmed's nephew, Osman II, who arrived with a plan which was to reform the Janissaries, the elite military corps conscripted as boys, trained inside the palace system, and paid by the state. The Janissaries had built their entire identity around being irreplaceable. However, Osman believed they had become a liability. And he was right, because it cost him everything. In 1622, the Janissaries strangled Osman in his bath. 2 months later, Kösem's 11-year-old son, Murad IV, was on the throne. We're not saying anything. We're just noting it. As Walid Sultan, she governed in her son's name while he grew into his own authority. She signed correspondence to the Doge of Venice. She held court from behind the caves, a lattice screen that separated the Walid's chamber from the council room, allowing her to observe, direct, and speak without being formally visible. The Greek slave girl who had arrived in Constantinople in chains was now the operational center of the empire. She also understood the succession question. Ottoman tradition had long permitted the execution of rival princes to stabilize the throne. She did not dismantle that tradition, but she softened its enforcement. Princes would be confined instead to separate caifs, which were sealed apartments within the palace walls where male heirs were kept alive, educated, and completely isolated from the machinery of government. Her younger son Ibrahim had been placed there in childhood too. By the end of Murad's reign, Ibrahim had spent 16 years inside those walls. She left him there as insurance. Insurance for a future she was already calculating. The cost was always going to be paid. Murad died in 1640, childless, and the only remaining heir was Ibrahim, who emerged from 16 years of isolation and proved, with painful clarity, that 16 years in a sealed apartment is not a preparation for governing an empire. His reign destabilized the court, drained the treasury, and unraveled the order she had spent decades constructing. By 1648, the damage was structural. Kösem conspired with the Janissaries to remove him. On the 8th of August 1648, Ibrahim was deposed and strangled inside the same caif's apartment where he had spent his adult life waiting. His 7-year-old son was crowned Sultan Mehmed IV. Kösem was now the grandmother to the Sultan, which gave her leverage but not a title. So she invented one, Büyük Walid Sultan, which meant she was the Grand Walid, a rank that had never previously existed, designed specifically to outrank the boy's actual mother. His mother's name was Tarhan Sultan. She was Slavic, captured by Crimean raiders as a girl, sold through the same trade routes and forwarded to the same palace. She had walked the same corridor as Kösem, so she understood the same architecture well. Over 3 years, quietly, Tarhan built her faction. On the 2nd of September 1651, the faction arrived. Kösem heard them in the corridor and stepped into the wardrobe. The hem of her dress caught in the door. She threw silver coins at the men who found her, buying seconds she did not have. They strangled her with the cord of a curtain. Her death ended something that had no official name while it existed. The Sultanate of Women. 50 years, with 4 reigns, and no formal office, nor title that predated her own invention of one. In that time, she built mosques, signed treaties, freed slaves, corresponded with European courts, and placed sons on the throne of the Ottoman Empire. She did it from behind a screen, through letters, and through the patient architecture of obligation, without ever holding a position the official record would fully acknowledge. She was killed by a younger woman doing exactly what she had done. She ruled from behind a screen. In the end, the screen ruled her too.